Thank you for, that was too loud. Thank you for coming, really, and making the time for that. There are so many things that you could have been doing, but yet you selected that one. Thank you very much for that. It was some days ago that I was coming back from work, exhausted. Not from work, but from being blocked on one-on-one for 2 hours. And the only thing that I wanted to do was really to curl up on the couch and do nothing, just relax. You know the feeling. And when I was just about to do that, I got a glimpse of my phone. It was ringing. After that difficult day, but it was my friend, Emily, calling from London. And it was very early in the morning for her time zone. So I rushed to pick up the phone. Hello, Emily. How are you? Is everything all right? Hopefully, thankfully, she was okay. Or almost okay, because she was very much furious about her boss. He's such a bloody mindy donor. I got the message. Emily was heading the HR department of a big corporation, and she was in the process of automating, with the help of technology, everything related to the employee. And her boss was not really there with her, very much doubting that effort. So I abandoned my couch relaxing plans and delved myself into a discussion with her in order to help her build her arguments and present a strong business case to her boss. It is true that I'm very lucky to be here with you, that you have a genuine interest to HR and technology as well. My job is really to help companies transform their people operations so that they have great productivity, have a scale-up business success, and also achieve an unrivaled employee experience. In this effort, it's the technology that helps me. But also, it helps me being really very much informed about the latest HR trends, which I'm going to share with you today. There are a lot of people like Emily that they are in between two worlds. They try to do new things with the help of technology, while there is not only the resistance, but there is also the speed that everything happens. There are organizations that they grow at a speed which is 10 times faster than the comparable companies in their own industry. And they do this with much fewer resources. They are the so-called exponential organizations, and they make very good use of technology, mainly digital technology. But in order to do that, they make use of new forms of work. And this is the point that makes a difference. Technology advancements have an admirable power to change how humans work and how companies operate. Nowadays, we can automate a lot of the compliance part of the HR profession and all the quality checks that you need to do. And in that way, you minimize time, money needed, and most important, the risk of a mistake. That was a very good argument also for Emily to use to her boss. You, most than anyone, since you are involved to HR technology, you know that nowadays, with the current technology, we can change everything. And we can automate things from hire to retire, almost everything. We can automate and do it with the help of technology. This helps a lot the HR professionals to be relieved from repetitive and non-creative work. This does not make their work less demanding, though. It makes their work more transformational. It makes their work much more digitalized, but in another aspect. In this new kind of organization, structures are changing, are becoming flatter. We've all heard of holacracy, places that have abandoned the type of manager and reporting employees thing, and other forms, quite pioneer. In this new type of organization, that things move fast, you need the employees to be empowered to do their job. You need the teams to auto-regulate themselves and not to be controlled by a manager. You need really the teams to be allowed to experiment and try new things and not to do reporting. So in that new type of organization, HR becomes really the transformation factor, becomes the architect of revolutionizing the policies and the processes in order for that things to happen. And there are some great examples that companies, pioneer companies, have done towards this direction. And we can follow their example. I would say, though, that we need to do that follow with caution. I've been working with a company, and they really wanted to have some processes in place for their people. So what they've done, they took some processes already existing in another company, and they copied, pasted the whole thing. It didn't work. And it doesn't work because when you really try to wear something that is not your size, you can't move with that. It's not a case that one size fits all, especially for that thing. It is trying to walk in shoes that they are bigger your size, let alone outrun your own competitors. Policies and processes regarding your people need to fit your own specific business model and culture. Otherwise, it's going to become a burden instead of a facilitator. The transformational role of HR is very important on the processes, but it's being affected by other external factors as well. There are things that out there are changing, and one of it is the length of careers. So we expect now a career of 50 years for an individual. This creates a very multi-generational environment that might need reskilling or upskilling for the new skills that are required in a corporation that has much more digital technologies compared to the past. Another external factor is the fast increase of open talent economy. Nowadays, the contingent workforce is by 2020 almost 40%. So most of your employees, quote unquote, are not your in-house employees. They're just somewhere contracting with you in order to do the job. This creates a lot of challenges for HR to have the skills required for all this challenge and also have them really engaged in what they do. In that challenges, the HR needs to become really the enabler. By enabler, I mean that it needs to become the one that will forecast the capabilities required for the job to be done, which is a tough thing in that very much volatile world, plus that it has to coach the business leader for engaging the people. But employee engagement is not an easy thing. It is the sure winning factor for any business. It is the sure winning factor for any business because we have seen it from so many research papers, so many results, and that's why it has gained a worldwide traction. Yet, we're not there. As the Gallup research has shown, we have a little bit of an increase, first time in 10 years, but still we have 53% of the people not engaged. And most important, not engaged with the overall purpose of the corporation. So this happens because still people are stressed out, working long hours, don't know exactly what is expected from them to do. And we're talking about employee engagement. For employee engagement to happen, we need to take care of the employee experience. What is the thing that people really live, experience within the corporation? For that thing, it is important for the company culture and the company purpose to be absolutely clear. That is one thing, but also embraced. Defining the culture, it is a process that has a lot to do with the managers and the entrepreneurs. I've seen companies that they try to scale up their business, and as I was discussing that before with some of you, they start with some people. And it is a friendly, wonderful environment. They know each other. And then after that, 20, 30 people, some outsiders are coming in. They don't really know each other that well as the previous guys. And then some others are being added, and we reach the amount of 50, 60 people. And that last added people don't know what is going on. And while this company is in the making, and they try really to attain all these business opportunities lying ahead, they have all these people really in that vague situation. When people know what is expected from them, and most important, know how to behave, then you have the talent of the company working for the purpose and the vision that this company has. The problem lies with the fact that a lot of companies that they are in that making phase, they try to really do the HR thing as they perceive it by being compliant to the law, and that's it. And maybe probably running around in order to make the hirings and bring the people that they need inside. And then what? But then is where the catastrophe happens. And the other thing, I'm here linked to this company because I embrace your vision to do something. But is just your vision only for you to make money? Or it has a broader impact, a broader good purpose? People want really to perceive the broader purpose of their work. And that is the second thing that I'm talking about here. It is important to ensure the employee experience for the people because that's how you make the engagement. This is how you really have the talent. This is how you move on. This is how you succeed. And nowadays, with the contingent workforce that I was talking about, this is becoming much more tough because people are not inside your company. They are somewhere, probably sitting at the couch of their home. So you cannot really engage them with a face-to-face interaction. That's where technology comes into picture. But you need to have a very individualistic approach and have human in the focus of what you do. And when you focus on the individual and you have that individualistic approach, you can really have a good employee experience and in such a way the engagement that you want. When the individual has a good employee experience, this is disseminated further to their family, to their social circle, and has a broader society impact. More and more, social responsibility for the corporation becomes a demand. It's not only the talents that we want to have inside our companies or the customers, that they want to know what is the broader impact of the company. It is the whole society. The people nowadays expect from the companies not just to ensure the financial gains for the shareholders. No. They expect from the companies to have a broader, long-term, humanistic view of what they can do for the society. And we've seen companies that they do that very well. And because of that, they have a very huge success in the market, and they serve their business model very well. This social responsibility is something that we shouldn't take out of the picture. Companies, they produce, they sell far beyond their products and services. They have a huge influence. They can influence mindsets, behaviors, societies. We have seen it. Did we notice the huge change that can happen from just one product? Can you recall how different life was, how different the social norms, the expectations were before smartphones? It's changed. It changed the whole society. And a product has the power to do it. A company has the power to do it. And as Pfeiffer, professor from Stanford, says, it's such a psychological influence, what you do, what your employee, any contract, any form of employee experiences within the work environment. What he or she experiences goes out to the society. This adds a new aspect to HR. And it adds the aspect of a social strategist role. Oops. Okay. HR has now the opportunity, since HR also has a tsunami of data that it is accumulated within the HR function. And what is the company practices on that? The company practices on everything that affects the society and the company purpose is a factor, a winning factor, that HR can take and help business win within a new partnership ecosystem. This is an ecosystem that consists of not just the employees or any talent, any contract type of talent, but also the customers, the suppliers, and the society as a whole. So nowadays, we can see that the stakeholders of an HR professional are much more broader in perspective. That's why we're talking about a social strategist role. Well, another name you were going to tell me. Yeah, so many names. I'm already talking about HR, which I hate as a name, but it's a way to communicate what we're talking about. And I hate it because people are not resources. People have feelings. They're not resources. Some other companies, they say, oh, people are our best asset. Really? They're assets. Like the assets that they depreciate with time. People don't depreciate with time. So I hate these terms. There are some good names that have been chosen from now and then from companies like people experience, people and culture, and so on. And it's important for each company to really select the names that represent them better and represent what they're doing. Names are important because they signify what is really being done. But what is even more important, I would say, beyond the name that we're going to name that function after all, is the content that it has, what it's been really asked to do, and what is the capability that you need in order to do that. And the future capabilities are different than the ones that we had in the past. Emily has embraced that change and welcomed this new world and acquired new capabilities. And what she tried to do was to really exchange around the globe and learn what is going on. And what she has done, she has transformed significant part of the processes with the help of technology. She had tried and reskilled parts of the organization. And she had also embraced her new role of making sure that the business that she's working for has a good social impact. It is true that there are things that are still not sure how they're going to be in the future. We're still in the process of defining how humans and how humans are going to work in the future and what is the behaviors that will be required. And even more so, what's going to be the exchange that they're going to have with their machine co-workers. Huh? What are the new roles that will be emerging in order to fulfill the needs of the future organization? So there are still things that we are to discover. There is one certain thing, though, and that is that we need a new kind of HR. A new kind of HR, by taking out of our mind that HR is the thing that will do the compliance to the California law, which is tough, I admit, not tougher though than the French law, and also it is the person that will be running all the time in order to do the hirings. If you really want to do that thing, don't call it HR. Because the thing that you need is someone that will be a strategic partner that will help your company make it. And if your company doesn't make it because of the talents, then really, what do you rely upon? Just on technology? I would like to conclude today by stressing the need that each and every company, smaller or larger, has this new kind of HR. And it lies with all of us. It's not just the HR people that they say that. All of us, from their different perspective. One is the technology officer, the other one is a product manager, the other one is a software engineer. All of us, from a different perspective, we can add in order to make this a reality. So I invite you to join forces in order to make this happen. I would like to remind you that if we want something to be productive and make it happen, we can. I recall my beloved American author, Ellen Keller, that she was saying, alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Thank you. As I was saying to a lot of people before, I think that the most wonderful thing would be the exchange and the discussion into that. Because these things are wonderful. And I have all these wonderful ideas, but at the same time, I'm not, let's say, a consultant that I have not worked around the globe. I've been working the last many years, I'm not going to say number, in 4 different continents to make these things happen. Most of the times in corporate centers, in centers of excellence, having my clients around the globe, internal or external. And I had always these kind of crazy ideas that I always land to reality. So I'm here to make this thing real for whatever you would like. There was a good suggestion that I would like to provoke to come up. Yes, yes. That was something that we were discussing before, and it is important so that corporations do not really, I mean, we hear a lot about this buzzing diversity and inclusion, and we really follow through the analytics, and we say we have that much of that resource group, that much. So we have our reports that we publish them, and we show that we have diversity within the work environment. And so what? We have diversity, but do really people have the opportunity to bring, as you wonderfully say, your authentic self? And are you really included in the conversations? I've seen a practice in a big company that there were diverse groups, and they were doing wonderful work, each of them on their different interests, but yet not together. So they were presenting themselves in their meetings, labeling themselves with their own different research groups. And in fact, there was no inclusion even within the meetings themselves. I say, what's going on? Is that thing working towards your benefit as a company or as a threat? In order, though, to create inclusion within a company, you need to make sure that the management behaviors are really allowing that, in fact, provoking that, not even allowing. And also, that things are very clear to the people regarding on what is expected from them. People that don't see that clarity, that creates fear, and most worst, pretentiousness. And as I was telling before, this fake thing does not allow the people to put their best self in their work. They put their best self in their personal interests and habits afterwards, in football or something else, but not in their work. Thank you for that.